Tuesday, the 28th of January 2025. The London session has just begun, and I have several trades that I'm going to place today. So we're going to start with the first 15-minute bars in gold and in the Dow. So placing buy and sell orders above and below the bar and following price wherever it goes. I will also be looking at the second 15-minute bar in the DAX and very likely the first 15-minute bar in the UK 100 as well. So let's see what happens. I will pause you now and wait for the first 15-minute bar to fill. I also generally look at the first 5-minute bar of the UK 100 as well. And lately it's been a positive bar almost every single day. So the simple rule is that if we go below it, we will sell. This is a method I've learned from a well-known trader called Tom Hugart, or Trader Tom. And this is an entry that both he has researched a lot and I have personally also researched a lot. And what I do extra is that I track how well the entry has worked when it gets filled, and when it gets into a period where it doesn't work that well, I do not take these entries based off the first 5-minute bar, and I just wait for a period where they start returning profits consistently. So now is one of those periods. So if this bar closes as a positive bar, and there's a big chance it does that now, if price returns to the low of the bar, I will be short. I will be using an 18-point stop loss, and the target is more fluid, but generally I will look for at least half of yesterday's range. So this is yesterday's range. So I will probably target these lows here if we do get filled short. So the low of New York session of yesterday. Normally I would be taking the second 5-minute bar in the DAX as well, but it hasn't worked that well lately, so I am pausing it a bit and waiting to see strength again. Just as with every other entry take, I track everything in a spreadsheet, so I know when a certain entry works well or when it doesn't. So the theory I am applying is that the market gets into certain cycles. So sometimes the big moves happen more towards the start of the session. Sometimes the moves happen after 1 hour of the session, and sometimes these cycles alternate and can last for some time, weeks, even months. So I've had weeks and months of entering a trade off the second 5-minute bar in the DAX, and it has worked well, returning on average like 20 points per trade. For a long period of time. But it has cooled off recently, so I'm not taking it. But just as an example, this is the second 5-minute bar. So when this would close, I would place a buy order above and a sell order below. But I'm only doing this in a period where I know, and my spreadsheet is showing that this particular entry is working really well. There will be a time where this entry doesn't work at all, and if you place orders above and below it, it will just stop you out every single day. And that's basically how I create my edge, is that I track everything and write everything down, and then I have a spreadsheet where I can look over all of this data and pick which entries I want to take that day. So all the entries that I've listed at the start of the video are entries that are working well right now, and ones that I believe are bringing a profit over the long run. So with that said, I'll pause you and wait for completion of the first 15-minute bars. And if I get a fill short here, I will show it to you. I have decided to place a sell order at previous day high here. So I have an extension here that automatically adds previous day high and previous day low with these aqua colored bars. So this is the low of yesterday, this is the high of yesterday. It's easy to just see the range of the day before, because usually these are spots where price reacts. So you will have traders who sell here and traders who buy here by default. So it's a good spot to maybe get a scalp in, or even a normal trade, but generally if I play this, I will consider it more of a scalp and not look to hold it for too long. We might of course retrace earlier. We just went above Asia session. So I also have a script that marks the sessions. Blue is Asia session, yellow is London session, and green is New York session. And this just helps me to see, when we go above the high of a session and then retrace into it, it's generally a short signal. Doesn't work every time, like you see here. It hasn't really worked yesterday, but you could have possibly scalped something. Also, when you close strongly above a session, that's a long signal, and so on. Just things I look at and things I like to see and have easy access to. So the DAX completed the second 5-minute bar and it broke to the downside. So this would have been a short fill here. We would have been short here. We would have been short here. Stop would be placed here. So it would be like a 22 point stop, something like that. And we would be targeting the lows of Asia. I wouldn't be really targeting much more than that for this particular entry, but especially since we've been in quite a strong uptrend, of course, you could say that a pullback is due, but I don't really like to think that way. I'm not gonna try to anticipate a weakness. I'm just gonna wait and see when it actually happens, and in between I'll just keep having a long bias. So right here we would have gotten 20 points max in profit so far, and I would be targeting the lows, which would be around 30 points total. So I'm interested to see if it works, because if it does start working again, I will start taking this entry again. I'm going to delete this order. This was just speculative for the open. Now when the first 15-minute bar forms, It's a 19-point bar. It's not a small bar, but I'm just gonna lower the size a bit here. And I will also place a bioorder above. So now I have a buy order above and a sell order below. I'll keep the sizing for this because it's technically another trigger. And I quickly have to check the size of the bar. So it's a 40-point bar. I'm gonna go just a bit lower here in size. And the bar is complete. I have to be a bit faster here. 5-point cushion above and below for the Dow. And for gold, as you can see here, we are at the lows of Asia session, but my research is showing me that I can safely take this fill either direction. So I am going to also place a sell order below. Like half a point, and a buy order above. And if we get filled, we're gonna hope for a sell-off here into previous day low. But right now we are raiding the bottom of Asia session and going back into the range, which in itself is a long trigger, but not one that I take on its face. Nasdaq has gone above previous day low. I think this is bugged out here. Yeah. So that wasn't accurate. Okay. Because no way Nasdaq was so tight yesterday. But we did go above Asia session here and closed below, so this is also a short signal on its face. But it's not one that I'm taking right now. But I have done a lot of research on this, so specifically in the Nasdaq and the DAX. So if you have a raid of one of the extremities of the previous session, so like we have here of Asia high, we went above and then strongly closed back into the range. This is a short signal. So I would just short here, place my stop here, and target the bottom of the range at the very least. That's also a model I've looked at in the past, but I'm not tracking it right now, and I'm just focusing on these entries that I've mentioned. So we would have gotten 30 points here, right at the bottom of Asia range. So that would have worked. So I'll note that down in my spreadsheet. And if we get a few more days where this works again, then it means that the trigger remains healthy, and I'll start taking it again. But yeah, enough talking. I just wanted to give a bit more of an explanation and a bit more detail about my entries and my methods. But I'll pause you now and wait for a fill. The fact that we almost got filled short and then this reversed strongly in the Dow suggests to me that there's a good chance we go higher now. We went just below, and this is why I use the cushion, by the way. We went just below the opening bar, now are heavily pushing forward. and we just got filled long, so just gonna delete the short order and place the stop in its place. So I'm risking $45. For a target, I mean the first target obviously would be the high of Asia session, and this is just $46 profit, so it would be a 1-to-1. I think I can go just a bit higher here, not quite to previous day high, but in between, just in the middle between Asia high and previous day high. I think this is a very likely spot we can reach. So targeting $61 and risking $45. I think that's appropriate. And what I need to look at here is the number of points I'm targeting. So it's like 65, 70 points, which is well within the range of what I usually make when this trigger works, according to my spreadsheet. So that is an appropriate target that we can reach. So now I'm waiting for another fill. The fact that we went below Asia session, tried to go back into the range, and now we're revisiting the lows is quite weak for gold, and this tells me that there's a good chance we do go lower here, but let's see. We're trying to go back up now. So there's definite demand here at this area, but I think gold looks weak, so I think we're probably going lower now. So waiting for fills and waiting for the second 15-minute bar to complete. We will take that bar in the DAX. And we have been filled in gold. So we're risking just 35 here. The sizing is a bit lower. We're risking 35. And I'm going to target almost the lows here. I'm targeting $50. So I always try to go for more than 1-to-1 or an R, but I don't really have a specific target. I'm more looking at how many points I usually make on these moves specifically. So from 37 to 32, that is 5 points. That is more than doable. On a short position on this particular entry, I've made 7 in the past, 7 points, 10 points, 7 points, 6 points. So yeah, we're definitely actually below that range, which means that our target is very reasonable. Let's see if we get filled long here. Yeah, I'll pause you and wait for fills and wait for the second 15-minute bar to complete in the DAX. So we did go above here and I got filled long. It was a spread fill, meaning we got filled because of the spread and not because price actually touched our entry point, which happens sometimes. It's a bit annoying if, say, price never goes above my entry point here. I would consider that a bit of an unlucky fill, but let's see. I have been filled long, so this means that I'm expecting we break previous day high and keep rallying. So I'm gonna be looking at invalidating this 1 hour candle, which might look scary, but if trading was as simple as short at resistance and buy at support, everyone would make money. So sometimes resistance gets broken, and my mechanical trigger has filled me long, and my strategy says that this trigger is profitable right now, so there's no reason not to be optimistic here, regardless of what happens. So we have 2 fills. Oh, actually 3 fills. We're a bit in profit in gold and a bit down in the other 2, but just gotta stay patient here. So the second 5-minute bar in the DAX would have actually worked quite well. But obviously I would have targeted the lows here, so I wouldn't be getting this chunk as well, but it's nice to see that the trigger is still working, even though it has had a rough patch lately. This is becoming kind of a big bar right now, which means I would have to lower the sizing here, but I'm still going to take this entry regardless. 1 minute until it completes. I think I can safely place the long order above it. 2-point cushion on the DAX, 2 to 3 points. I'm going to wait here a bit with the sell order. I'll just drag it down so it can't get filled accidentally before the bar completes. 30 seconds. Now, I'm not really bothered if I get filled in different directions here. For example, long in the UK 100 and the Dow and short in the DAX. These entries are independent from each other, and they work in the long run, so and that's the short entry. It's very likely we get filled short here, of course, but perfectly valid. I've adjusted the sizing, so we'll just let things run their course. We have targets in place. Sometimes I won't place targets, sometimes I will let things run, but for today I think I am going to go with targets, and I'll let things unfold now and bring you back. Things are looking better here, but no reason to celebrate just yet, because we will be heading into resistance here at Asia high for sure. For the UK index, we are attempting a breakout here. Hopefully it holds. So now it's just a patience game. I'm considering if I should add to any of these positions. I do like to add to my winning trades sometimes, when I'm confident that they're working out. I do think I want to do this for gold. And I'm just going to go back into the range here. So risking another $34 here. And risking 35 on the original entry. And I'm going to target the exact same area. So I'm selling this push back a bit, hoping to see a continuation of selling. This obviously can be risky, but also very rewarding when done right. I do not add to my losing trades, so the only way I can add to a position is if I'm in profit. So that's what I did. Meaning I can still add to both these positions right now because they're in profit, but let's see. And still no fill in the DAX. Yeah, I'll let things play out. I don't think I want to add in the Dow, because I do think that there is a chance we attempt a reversal when we get to Asia high, but I will keep this target in place. I might be adding in the UK index, but I do want to see a close above previous day high here, not just going above it, but a close, a 15-minute bar close. So let's see. I'll bring you back for that. So sadly, we did reverse in gold here. That's just unfortunate. Probably gonna get stopped out eventually, but I'll let the original play out as well. This is the risk of adding, of course, but we did go below. That's what happens sometimes. Still in the other two trades and still no fill in the DAX. We'll be patient. Let's see what happens. And I'll bring you back. And we have hit TP in the Dow. So that's nice. Nice TP here. I'm not interested in speculating a short position here at resistance. I'm more annoyed with the gold trade, but actually this close here is pretty much a long signal. However, for the sake of my strategy, I do have to let it play out. We could still see a double top here at the high of London session and a reversal. And for the small difference in amount here, if it's minus 27 or minus 35, doesn't really matter, so I have more to gain to just let it run at this point. Sadly, the UK index has done what you don't want to see, which is a raid of the previous day high and then a close or an attempted close back into Asia range. But we'll see if it actually closes. If it actually closes back in Asia range, I might just manually close the trade. I'll bring you back for that. And we did get stopped out in gold here. So yeah, unfortunate day in gold. I also had a long order here before the session started, based off this candle here. So yeah, not a lucky day in gold so far. And like I said, this is a long trigger, but I'm not going to take it now. I don't like switching so fast. It does feel a bit reactionary. And generally when you raid the lows and go back into the range, I am bringing the stop for the UK 100 trade a bit further up. And I just realized I deleted the short order, as I usually do when I enter a mechanical trade, but this short order is actually a different entry. So if we break below this at any time, I do want to be short at any time during today's trading schedule. DAX looking quite strong. If it closes here, that's a long trigger on its own, but I will let the order in place. And we're making another attempt at breaking out here. This needs to work. Now, the close came And you can't really say it's a close back into Asia session. It's quite marginal. And we're attempting to go have a dig at previous day high again. So this isn't an automatic close to me. I'll give it a chance to break out, but if I see weakness, I'm going to close it early. Bringing you back here, and we just got filled long in the DAX. And I'm just going to target previous day high here, 1-to-1 trade. Well, the indices look pretty bullish right now, so I'm not too bothered with having missed this part of the rally and entering here. Now, obviously, we have gone above this candle and are trying to retrace a bit. You'll have sellers coming in here, of course, but I do think there's a good chance we just invalidate this candle and attempt to go back at the previous day highs. So I'll let that play out, just like I'll let this play out, and I will bring you back later for an update on how this went. I have returned from my lunch break, left it run for some time, and I manually exited here. Take profit was just a bit above, but I think it's ranged for quite a bit at this level, so to just hang out for an extra $10 is probably not needed. So this is this morning. A decent result, I would say. Not great in gold, but what can you do? I've chosen to add to the gold position and not to the others, and of course the gold position was the wrong one, but that can happen. Yeah, so decent morning of executing the planned entries. Some nice wins in Dow, in the DAX, in the UK 100, and some losses in gold. Can't win them all. So that's it for this video. I will return for the US session. If you like this type of content, please like and subscribe. I'm trying to post videos daily with my entries, my exits, my strategies, and explaining everything along the way. And hopefully I will show you how to pass an FTMO challenge with just using mainly mechanical entries, research, and good management and execution. So thank you, and I will see you later.